too. But yeah, well, we just came here to learn something new and put some new ideas into our head.
Great. How can I find this podcast?
Oh, there's a card actually. So if you guys want to know our podcast, you can hit us up on Apple iPod or the Spotify. But we do have cards, so come ask us and give you a card to get a hold of us. Our information is on our Instagram, our Facebook, all of that.
Great. And what is your what do you talk about on the podcast?
So we talk about what's going on our reservations. My buddy Josh, he is up in California in Palm Springs. Miko, he's in Pine Ridge, and I'm in Rosebud. We're all Lakotas, but I'm MC Chungu, and we always talk about anything that's going on, basically from sports to what's going on in Indian res, or what's going on Turtle Island, basically.
Great. That's great. You guys want to?
Everyone, I'm Josh. Thank you for just mentioning. Well, I'm also Pongo. That's the tribe from Los Angeles area. I grew up in Palm Springs, California, which is about 2 hours east of Los Angeles. And some of the things we talk about on the podcast, like talk about reservation life, I talk about urban life. It's like that. It was basically an urban res where I grew up. It's kind of interesting in Palm Springs where it's a checkerboard reservation. So like imagine across the street, like the casino is on res land, but then across the street, the Lowe's is like white land.
Yeah.
So it's real weird. And then things like books we read, like There, Tommy Orange, and all facts about like urban Indian life. Talked about like the most recent news of like his Indian country. I spoke to Instagram, like the book We're in a Headdress.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I saw that. I said, hey, we can do a podcast today and talk about that. Be the first people to talk about it. And then I work in education too as well. Been doing summer programs. Actually, I met this guy. We were working at USC, over $1 million. First online on the pandemic, and then in person the past 2 summers. So I'm just really promoting youth to go out and get an education. It doesn't have to be universities, whatever they want to do in life, and get that kind of.
Great. Thanks.
My name is Nico Baker. I'm like one of the founders for a little podcast. And for me, I graduated from USD right before the pandemic, so I had so much free time. And during that free time, I was visiting with this guy. Everything was online. Our whole lives were online. So like sitting at home in isolation, like we're human beings, we need interactions in some type of way or form. So for me, it was like kind of like falling into like depression. So I wanted to create like a space for like where we could talk and kind of hearing ourselves. And for me, it was just doing like a little Zoom and just visiting with these guys. But it turned into a podcast. We started doing start talking. We started getting guests. We had Emily Guerrero. She's on Res Dogs. She's an Auntie B. We got her to do a podcast with us. And Emily Clark, she was a well-known Kuya. Yeah, Kuya beater. She does the Hogwarts beating editions. They're pretty cool. And yeah, just like, and of course, shout out to Little One that's here. I also work with Project Aware. It's a counseling, and I'm a counseling and social worker. So a lot of what I do is just trying to like give them a voice and listen to them and be a listener first. So that's just
Thanks.
where the idea came from.
Hi.
Hi, I'm just sitting here.
You don't want to say anything?
I'm a Thunder Valley intern, and
Oh, good.
him, I also work with Project Aware, I'm a counselor /
What's your name?
My name's Shirley Spider.
Hi. Thanks for coming. I want to go over here because he called you out.
My name is Alejandro Cruz, Mexican. This is my 4th year teaching here at Little Wood School. This is my first year in charge of kind of the journalism classes.
Oh, good.
And this has kind of like been the thing I've been wanting to do for years now. It means a lot to me that our students on the res get their voices heard, and hopefully I'm doing the best that I can to just, be someone that can give them the right tools to
Great.
to do that.
Miss Jayhawk fan.
Sheena, I won the journalism.
She's our photographer for the day.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, my name is Sage Catches. I grew up in Pine Ridge. I live in Kyle and go to Woodland.
So are you guys high school students?
Yeah.
Great. You like journalism?
Yeah, I like this class.
Great. Well, it gets you out of town, come up to Rapid City, right? You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Tatanka Catches. I grew up on Pine Ridge. I really like journalism because I'm trying to get myself more into photography. That's why I want to try that out.
Good.
Hi, my name is Joey Gurkin. Was born in Pine Ridge. I've been here my whole life, and I'm just happy to be here and learn from all kinds of other people.
Great. Nice. Hi, you guys.
My name is Larry Swally. I am currently work as a social worker in Pine Ridge. I have a bachelor's degree in communications since 1984. And I have a AA degree in interior communications electronics with the United States Navy in 1987. And, was a police officer, worked at Key Radio for a short stint. And, I've been in several movies, including Skins and Crazy Horse. And I'm just interested in this summit, and we're really glad to see that it's opportunities are becoming more for our people.
Great, thanks. Mr. Tubles.
My name is Richard Tubles of Ogallala. I worked in media here since probably 10 years. I currently work for South Dakota Public Broadcasting, and I'm just interested because I've been trying to tell our people's story, not only from Pine Ridge, but across the state, and try to tell those stories that are meaningful and not focused on the negative, like poverty, that side. So I'm just interested in this summit, you know, the whole thing, obviously, as a journalist professionally. And we have a studio at Red Cloud, and I'm looking to engage with students down there, not only just Red Cloud, but across the all reses, to get people, children interested in journalism.
Yeah, great. Hi, you guys.
Oh, hi, I'm Debbie Phelps. I work at Thunder Valley CDC. I've been there for 5 years. I'm actually from the Sister Washington tribe. I graduated high school in Rapid City. I served in the military, the Marine Corps. And I do have my master's degree and everything. I do have 3 children. My daughter actually works for Bulls TV in Chicago. So I just like to express how important education is. She did go to school on a full ride scholarship for basketball, but she was good enough to maybe go WNBA or overseas, but she chose her career because she wanted to get into her career and really do that and focus on that. You know, so education is important. So, but yeah, that's it.
Great, thanks. Hi.
Hi, my name is Angelina Spello. I am a high school student at Littleton, and I'm also in journalism. I really like journalism because it seems like you could get your voice out there, especially as a young Lakota youth. But yeah, I'm glad I got to be here. And I always wanted to start a podcast, and I seen we got some Native people that start podcasts. And I also was kind of interested in being in the news, and I see that you look for the news. And it's kind of like, feels good to see people, Native people, to be out there, what I wanted to learn about.
Great. Hi.
Hi, my name's Leela White, and I'm a sophomore student at Red Club, and I came to just learn about what was happening here. And my mom was doing a panel today, so.
Thanks for coming. Hi.
My name is Melania and I'm a sophomore at Red Club, and I just came to
Hi, I'm Dwayne LaFay. I grew up in the Mills Camp community of Rosebud. And actually, I'm retired for 7 years now from education, and came to this sort of events and continue to do this just to stay fresh. I've hung around too many people my age who just, they talk about being old and what hurts, when they're gonna die. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's more fun to see what's current and see what's going on. Shirley and I go back a ways from her dad and I taught together at Flandre Indian School back in the 70s. When I was down at Winnebago, lived in Vermilion, and she was working for public broadcasting. I would go into the studios and she'd let me pirate stuff to take down to school. Did I say that out loud? Anyhow, thanks.
Yeah, great. Indian Country today is 40 years old. It was started, did you have a question? Oh, you look like you were going to say something. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Tim Gallego started the Lakota Times 40 years ago. And I was fortunate enough to get to know him way back then when I was working for South Dakota Public Broadcasting. And he was a very good mentor to me throughout the years. And I can remember one time I had a radio show called Sioux Perspectives. I thought that was kind of cute, Sioux Perspective. And it was on radio every Saturday on South Dakota Public Radio. And one of the things that I did was a newscast, like we do a news summary. And I was reporting on a pueblo in New Mexico. And I said it was the Acoma Pueblo. And Tim said, "Oh, Shirley, I was hoping that you would say it right." And so anyway, one of the things that he taught me was the importance of getting to know people and what you're talking about and the subject matter. And when I went to college at South Dakota State University, I took American Indian Studies. And I've just been really fortunate to be able to be in a position to get to know about tribes all over the country and indigenous people all over the world. And I just love that. And I worked at Vision Maker Media for about 16 years, and we produced documentaries for PBS. And I got to work with filmmakers all over the place. In fact, Sarah, was talking about that film tonight. I worked with those filmmakers on other projects, throughout the years. And it's just been so much fun to be able to be on the ground floor of being able to tell Native stories. And the reason I do this work is because I'm angry. And I've carried this anger my whole career in the fact that I see so much misrepresentation of our stories and our lives. And so I decided that I should channel that anger into doing something about it. And so that's how I ended up working for the ICT newscast with Aaliyah Chavez. And Aaliyah Chavez is 26 years old, and she's a graduate of Stanford in journalism. And she's just one smart cookie, she's, I like to say she's a dog with a bone in the fact that she wants to tell this story and she wants to get it right. And Jared, right? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I haven't seen you for a while. You should introduce yourself. This is going to be one of your speakers too, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Wahe kinitan haban na duset na kaya minana aanimin na hasihin na Jarrett Work. Hello everyone, my name is Jarrett Work. I'm Ani and Lakota from the Fort Belknap Indian community in Montana. And I'm a reporter and photographer for Underscore News based out of Portland, Oregon. And we cover the urban and rural indigenous communities up in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, excited to be here.
And Underscore is actually a partner of ICT. And we work very closely with that news organization and covering stories in the Northwest part of the United States. One of the things about being in journalism is that there's always stories. You guys know this. You're in journalism, you know that there's always a story, and we like to take a look at stories that are local and translate those into how they affect Native Americans all across the country and Indigenous people around the world. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So I worked for South Dakota Public Broadcasting for about 10 years, back when I was young and skinny. And I did a program on Buddy Redbow, who was a Lakota rock and roll and country western singer back in the day in the 80s. And I still hear his songs on Keeley radio. But he really was a groundbreaker in media and getting Native American voices in the mainstream public. And it was just a real joy for those guys to dust off the tapes and do this interview with me the way I am now. When I was, my gosh, that was 30 years ago. So that was a long time that I've been in this business. But like I said, I think it's just extremely important that we get to tell our own stories. So I did go to journalism school, and at Indian Country Today, after Tim Gallego sold it to the Oneida Tribe of Wisconsin, it turned into this really slick magazine that they just couldn't sustain. And so the Oneida Tribe donated it to the National Congress of American Indians, and they kind of sat on it for a little bit and then hired Mark Trahant to breathe some life into it. And so that's when it became an all-digital publication and not a newspaper or not a magazine anymore. So it's online, IndianCountryToday.com or ICTnews.org. We're a nonprofit news organization, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what a nonprofit news organization means. Do any of you guys read the Rapid City Journal? Takes about 2 seconds right now. Journalism is going through amazing changes, massive changes, and we're seeing an industry really imploding and exploding through different forms of revenue and how they survive and exist. And when we started up again with the website, we're a hybrid between a pure public television programming that, you know, the ICT newscast is on 75% of the PBS stations around the country. It's on several streaming platforms, Free Speech TV, Hulu, Apple Plus, a number of different platforms. And we're also on some local access stations. Like if you go to Philadelphia, you can watch the show. I'm just really gratified that so many people have shown an interest in this program, and our carriage has really gone through the roof this year. We've only been around for 3 years. We were started in Patty Telehungva's living room during the pandemic, and we started just to give tribal people an update about what was going on in the pandemic. And because we couldn't talk to each other anymore, we all had to wear our masks, which I should still be wearing, and we couldn't go anywhere. Zoom really took off, and so we just started out being a Zoom-based news show. And we did that for about 9 months, and then we moved into the Phoenix Indian Center as a studio just because nobody was there because of the pandemic. And it was free. They had free parking. They really liked that. But our true partnership began about 18 months ago with Arizona PBS. And if you guys want to go to college, Cronkite School, Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications is one of the best in the country. South Dakota State University is where I went to school, and at that time it was a really good journalism school. University of South Dakota has, you know, I mean, everybody offers at least a few journalism courses. But these days, this is the camera that I primarily use. I have an external mic and a tripod, and it's really nice to be able to get the kind of quality for broadcasts that you can by just, you know, using this little phone and an external mic. I also carry this one around that has this microphone on it. It's just a very basic, very cheap digital SLR. But, you know, after coming from a documentary film world where, you know, it would take 2-3 years to make a documentary film, like the one that you'll see tonight if you go see that one. We had the filmmakers on the show right before they premiered at Tribeca, and so I got to watch that show. It's about 2 hours long. It's really good. And the way that they put that together, using archival photos and old stories and poetry and music and dance. It's really quite an awesome film. It deserved to be in the Tribeca Film Festival, which is one of the most competitive film festivals for documentary films in the country. So going from that to like, I'm shooting 90 seconds of video that will be on the newscast on Friday here. And I've shot little snippets of you all at the opening session. And then I'll probably get a couple of interviews from a different people. I'd sure like to talk to you, young people, so maybe after this we can do a short interview with you guys and the podcasts. And you're volunteering your friend? All right, good. I was actually supposed to, I'm here instead of Palm Springs this week, yeah. ACES, yeah. We're winning an award. Yeah, a media partner award on Saturday, and I love going to Palm Springs.
I'll be there Saturday, so
You want to go pick up my award? Oh, please do.
I'm going to the powwow.
Okay, yeah. No, they gave us an award for our coverage of Indian country, and that's the thing that makes us just a joy to go to work every day, is because you just never know what the news is going to be. I mean, we got a Native American in space today. I mean, how awesome is that? And so we were able to interview her, and I just get to meet the most amazing people and talk to them, and get tribal leaders to return my phone calls. I mean, it's kind of neat. But when Mark Trahant decided to take the program out of the mothballs and really revive it, he was just really deliberate about making sure that everybody that works there is Native American or indigenous heritage. And so everybody that works there, except we have one ally who is in marketing, but everybody else is an enrolled tribal member. And then we have one lady that's Hawaiian. So that's it. And the thing about our broadcast that makes it different from anybody else's is that we don't explain things to you. I mean, we don't say the Pine Ridge Reservation is the poorest, county. I mean, we tell stories that are uplifting. I mean, we don't avoid controversy because, as you all know, there's a bunch of controversy amongst our tribes and a bunch of problems and stuff. But we try to go beyond the basic problems and what we call poverty porn. I'm sure you've heard that before. And to really talk about those problems, but then also talk about the solutions and people that are doing things out there that are really combating hatred and combating misinformation and really exposing what we believe is the truth from an Indigenous standpoint. And that's really where we're coming from. And that's why it was so important for us to hire Indigenous broadcasters and Indigenous writers, Indigenous editors. And I'm going to announce 4 jobs that I'm hiring for: producers and editors and a newscast director. I'm hoping next week, but you got to get permission from the HR department and get the job descriptions out and advertise them. But I'm really hoping that those jobs will be filled by January. And so I think that we are seeing a real shift in the way journalism schools are handling this too, in the fact that we're all multimedia storytellers. Everybody here, I imagine, has shot something on their phone and shared it with your friends, and you are the grassroots journalists when you do that. And so it's a nice way to share our own stories and put that perspective into it. So let's talk about what are some of the stories are there stories that you would like to see on our newscast, on ICT newscast? Anything that is going on in your school or your community that you'd like it to share?
Sports updates.
Sports updates.
What are scores and stats?
Yeah, that's good. Sports updates. Talk about athletes and what they're doing and how they're doing it. Any other stories come to mind? Stories. You want to tell us some stories?
I can't think of anything right now. School. I know that social media is like a big platform, and so far what I witnessed at my school is that they use that for bullying and stuff. Cyberbullying is a big thing.
Yeah.
But, and then I know that there's a lot of smart people at my school that, I don't know, it's just, us young people, we're, have brilliant minds and stuff, but then sometimes we don't have opportunities as others. And I just kind of want to encourage them. So in this journalism class, I was hoping that, it could have make sure they know that there's opportunities and stuff, and so that way they could, experience different things and know that there's more stuff out there in the world.
Great. Anybody else want to share some stories?
I just saw on Instagram that the Navajo Nation put on the reservation metal shows. A bunch of metal bands are playing out there. And the bassist from Metallica was out there too.
Yeah.
Hanging out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, res metal's a big deal down there. Yeah. Yeah, we worked on a documentary called Res Metal, and it hit public broadcasting this year. Oh my gosh, that took 10 years in the making. It took a long time, which is different. Documentary filmmaking is I love that long form storytelling. And when I worked at South Dakota Public Broadcasting, I did work on quite a few longer form documentaries. But I tell you what, the reason I got out of journalism and went into management was cables. I just got tired of coiling cables. And then I don't have to do this now because this is all batteries and it's got a little card in here, and I just pull it out and put it on my computer, and then I just email, FTP, all the video back to Phoenix, Arizona, and the editors put it together. It's the same way with this. I don't have to, hook it up to anything. Batteries are great. So storytelling is changed so much. And I think it's important for us to be in Indigenous platforms like ICT News, but I also think it's important if you want to go into mainstream media. I talked to a young lady yesterday who's out in Los Angeles. You guys heard of Oprah Winfrey? She's working for Oprah Winfrey, and then she's working for that Gaines. What's her name? Joanna Gaines, that Magnolia Network. And so she's working for all these cable shows, and she's got a really good job there. And I said, why do you want to leave that? And she said, you know what? There are 2 people of color working here, and I'm tired of being the only one. And she said, they don't understand our stories, and I just want to go somewhere where that we can be heard and our stories can make a difference. So that's what we were interviewing her for a job. So we'll see if she jumps and comes back to Indian country. She's Laguna Pueblo. So, but she grew up in Los Angeles with her family, but always stayed connected back to her family. So after Mark Trahant breathed life into this story, we looked around for partners. And it's great that you guys are at Red Cloud School. And I think that's we should do a story about that and highlight some of those larger issues that South Dakota Public Broadcasting brings to the forefront. So that's important. Do you know how long we're supposed to go 11:10? Well, it's 11:10. Maybe.
I do have to ask, I'm gonna hand out the surveys. You guys would take some time to
Okay,
fill them out, please.
sure. So anyway, watch the news show. And like I said, if you want to contact me, my email address is easy. It's shirley@ictnews.org. And pitch some stories to me. We have always welcome young people to tell stories with us. And I always have internships open and would love to see you guys to be part of that. So
Do you all sign up in like cooking sessions and stuff?
cooking?
Yeah, like cooking sessions.
Probably not.
Okay.
We interview chefs, and I've done segments on chefs. But I mean, it's only a half-hour newscast. But we do sports. We are adding a sports to our broadcast. We're probably going to merge with ndnsports.com.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Throughout, yeah, it's going to be a long process, but we'll probably in about a year, you heard it here, keep it under your hats, but we'll probably announce a merger next year. And we're also talking to Lee Enterprises, which does the Rapid City Journal, about a partnership in reporting here. So we'll have a reporter based here in Rapid City, an Indigenous reporter in Rapid City that we'll share with folks. So, well, I appreciate y'all coming, and good luck, and hang in there and be a journalist, because we need to tell our own stories.
Thank you.
And we need to go warm up. I'm just cold. So how are you?
Doing good. How are you?